Class, be seated. Welcome to the 54th commencement exercises at Cinnaminson High School. Commencement, the solemn but joyful climax and recognition of the graduates' year of study, is an important and meaningful occasion to the high school, its faculty, staff, and students. In keeping with this feeling, all guests and participants are requested to avoid unnecessary conversation or moving about during the exercises. It is also requested that the audience give each member of the class of 2020 his or her deserved recognition as he or she is called to receive his or her diploma. Please hold all applause until all members of the class of 2020 in attendance have received diplomas. Members of the audience are requested to stand and join Cinnaminson High School band members, Jenna Goins and Ryan DeCesar, as we pay homage to our great national anthem. Great nation with the playing of our national anthem. Class, please stand. Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce our high school principal, Mr. Ryan Gorman.
Good evening, and welcome to the 54th commencement exercises for Cinnaminson High School. I'm incredibly thankful that we have been afforded the opportunity to take a moment to quiet the fracas of everyday life and gather here tonight to celebrate our graduates. With us are the people whose efforts make this school district run. We have the president of our Board of Education, Ms. Laura Fitzwater, our superintendent, Mr. Stephen Capello, our director of curriculum, Dr. Frank Goulburn, our director of special services, Mrs. Darlene Llewellyn, administrators from throughout the districts, my colleague from the high school, parents, family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2020. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us here this evening. Before continuing with my formal remarks, I'd like to take a moment to thank the individuals who made this celebration a reality. Mr. Mark Tyndall and the maintenance and grounds crew, our special events coordinators, Mr. Dan Rella and Mrs. Karen Haddon. The road to this event was beset with more obstacles than any other commencement ceremony in Cinnaminson High School history, and it is only through their Herculean effort that we were able to make this happen. For those of us who joined us last year, does anyone remember when rain was the biggest problem facing graduation? Those really were the days. I would also like to thank Ms. Nicely, Ms. Berger, the band, and the choir for their contributions to this year's ceremony. While we were not able to enjoy their performances live, the talents of our musicians and their dedication to our music program was crystal clear. Most importantly, I would like to take one last moment to thank the parents and families who have guided and molded these young people into who they have become today. This was as close to an impossible year as I can remember, and not too long ago, standing here at a commencement ceremony seemed like a chimerical dream. However, your children, our class of 2020, stood resolute against difficulty and disappointment to complete their year with grace and purpose. It is your message about what it means to be an adult that carries the most weight with your children, and the quality of those messages never see it fail to impress me. Thank you for your support and efforts, and congratulations on reaching this very important milestone. In the end, I expect that the takeaway from this year's, for many of us, will be about the importance of perseverance, overcoming obstacle, and determination. We will paint mental pictures of men and women with feet planted solidly and arms akimbo, refusing to succumb to the pressures of the world. We should, for those lessons are important, and there are innumerable examples of those concepts to reflect upon this year. However, I implore you to define this year not by what was lost, but by the opportunities that were created in that vacuum. Perhaps you discovered a new hobby or rekindled an old one. Maybe you got to spend more quality time with loved ones or take a step back from the chaos and hectic after-school schedules and eat dinner as a family. The unfortunate reality is that I can promise that life will continue to put obstacles in your path, and the most successful of us are the ones who look through the obstacle to find the opportunity. Only you can define reality, and I encourage you to define it by opportunities gained, not lost. No matter your plan, whether you are pursuing education, defending our country, joining the workforce, or continuing to search for your passion, you are ready for the challenges and prepared to seize the opportunities that will present themselves. I cannot wait to see where those opportunities will take you. Please join me in a round of applause congratulating the class of 2020. Now it is my honor to introduce our first speaker and the 2020 Valedictorian, Abigail McDonald. As one would expect from someone receiving this award, Abigail is exceptional when it comes to academics. Her current GPA is 103.6067, which includes a total of 12 honors and 10 AP courses. Furthermore, Ms. McDonald is a talented athlete who was named captain of her field hockey team. She has served as her class as both president and vice president. She is a dedicated volunteer and an inductee into the 2020 CHS Hall of Fame. Simply put, Abby is an amazing young woman who exemplifies the best that Cinnaminson School District has to offer. Without further ado, please welcome Ms. Abigail McDonald.
Good evening to our faculty, guests, and most importantly, my classmates. It is truly an honor to stand before you all today as the valedictorian of the class of 2020. Before I begin, I would like to thank all of the individuals who worked tirelessly to make this happen. An in-person graduation was not easy to plan, with strict restrictions regarding distancing, guests, and sanitation. Yet the staff and members of our community spent weeks designing the safest scenario to make this last ceremony possible, and for that we are all grateful. I would also like to thank my parents for supporting me and pushing me to be my best all throughout my educational experience. Lastly, I would like to thank a few individuals who truly made an impact on my high school experience. Mrs. Carroll took the time not only once but twice to completely revolutionize the way I used words to express my feelings. She took the time to make me the most effective writer I could be and helped me to reach my true potential. I would not be where I am today without her guidance. Mrs. Arbelez affirmed my love of math. She made each and every day an adventure and was a role model as a scholar and person. She was there for me with kind words when I was overwhelmed or stressed and was a shoulder to cry on when I felt alone. And for that, I will always be thankful. There isn't enough time to describe how all of my teachers impacted me, but each and every one helped me to become the person I am today, and I truly owe my success to them. I began writing this speech long before we had heard the words social distancing and COVID-19. While most of what I had intended to say is no longer relevant, there is a poem by an anonymous author that I feel is more important now than before, and I would like to share it with you. The poem is as follows. At first I was dying to grow up and go to high school. Then I was dying to finish high school and go to college. Then I was dying to finish college and start working. Then I was dying to get married and have children. Then I was dying for my children to grow old enough so I could go back to work. Then I was dying to retire. And now I am dying, and I suddenly realized I forgot to live. For me, this poem reflects our eagerness to move forward, constantly striving to reach the next step on the path of life, and our willingness to leave the true beauty of the present undiscovered. After finding this poem, it became a constant reminder of the importance of living in the moment. At times, it is easy to feel as if you're stuck, and that what's coming is far better than what you have. However, I now believe that no matter how difficult things may be, or how exciting the next phase may seem, you will never truly know the value of a moment until it has passed. And that is why, even in times like these, when it seems that nothing is going right, it is important to focus on the little things each day that make life worth living. There is a quote from Thomas Monson that embodies the lessons learned from this poem. Learn from the past, prepare for the future, live in the present. Although I had plenty of time to think of what I would say to you all, I struggled to find the words. What do you give to a class that lost so much? No words can truly capture the heart and spirit of this class. We lost our senior trip, we lost our prom, we lost the chance to watch our peers be inducted into the Hall of Fame, we lost our year, and we lost our chance to say goodbye to the teachers and students that helped us become the people we are today. But what we didn't lose was our dedication, our friendships, our love and respect for each other, our hope. We continued to muddle through, and we made it, to graduation, to the first step on our next journey. Although our last was far from perfect, we pulled through, together. And that is what makes the class of 2020 memorable. Not the obstacles we faced, but our resilience. And while this may not be the celebration we were expecting, it is the one that most accurately represents us as a class. It represents our resilience, our optimism, our hard work, and our determination. And it is these attributes that allow us to stand tall during these unfathomable circumstances. We are living through one of the most pivotal times in not only American, but global history. We are living through revolutionary changes in society and as individuals. Everyone has lost something. Everyone is suffering. Yet we somehow manage to use this common suffering as a means to connect us. Though more apart than ever before, we are united by our common losses and our hopes for the future. It is this that makes us memorable. It is not what we lost that we'll be remembered for, but for what we gave when even the world felt it had nothing. We lived through history, and yet we soldiered on, giving our best effort to every new challenge and every struggle, despite our new and for many painful circumstances. And that is what I will remember about each and every one of us. It is now our time to make our own history, and I wish each and every one of you good luck on your path to success. Thank you.
I am equally excited to introduce to the podium our Salutatorian, the President of the Class of 2020, and the Master of Ceremonies for the remainder of this evening's event, Ms. Rachel Wickstead. Rachel will graduate CHS with a 102.8603 GPA and has taken a combined 22 honors or AP classes. She is a member of more clubs and activities than time this evening will allow me to recognize, and a talented athlete. Somehow, she still found time to dedicate over 200 hours of community service to the patients of Lower Bucks County Hospital. Rachel is an exceptional young woman whose talents and drive will surely allow her to accomplish all of her dreams. Please welcome Rachel Wickstead.
All right. Welcome, students, family, teachers, administrators, and faculty, all half of you. 2020. This was supposed to be our year, and it was on March 13th that we left school one day, unknowing that this would be our last day at Cinnaminson High School. Since that day, our world has been turned upside down. With a global pandemic and protests, 2020 has undoubtedly seemed doomed from the start. In fact, it is from my understanding that many students have perceived our year to be ruined. No senior trip, no prom, no project graduation, not even a conventional graduation ceremony. Sure, but on the bright side, our baseball team had a better record than last year. It appears that we have been robbed of something we worked so hard for. But mind you, 2020 is not over yet. Contrary to what you may believe, this is still our year. Essentially, this is just the beginning. Luckily for our class, we have incredibly intelligent, resilient, talented, and motivated students that will go on to do great things, whether it will be at a four-year university, in the military, or workforce. While some may view this closing to our 4 years as insufficient, I deem it unique, as we are not just any group of high schoolers reaching the next path of our journey. The challenges that we have faced and accomplishments we have made throughout this year and our past years at CHS have shown incredible growth and strength. We entered CHS as fearful freshmen, unsure of how these next few years would play out. Our first 3 years of Spirit Week left us frustrated and separated as a class. Not many people had faith that by senior year, we could come together and attain the Spirit Stick. We blinked and we were seniors. This year, more and more people put forth the effort to dress up and help make posters. On the day of the pep rally, our class showed true commitment, honor, and spirit, and won almost every event there was to offer. Hearing our class announced as winners for the Spirit Stick at the homecoming dance was a prominent moment for many, including myself. I believe it brought us closer as a class and gave us faith that hard work does pay off. With that said, CHS's class of 2020 will forever be remembered. Something also unique to our class is that we are to have our names written in brick for the campus to acknowledge forever. I find this especially fitting for our class of 2020, as my classmates have excelled in all aspects. We are D1 athletes, all South Jersey singers, bakers, successful businessmen. If you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe the numbers. Our very own Michael Iannuzzi has sold 212 t-shirts for his Philadelphia Kicks business, making $2,730 in sales and $1,400 in profit from just our school alone. Her junior year, Catherine Makowitz spent every lunch period constructing the foundation for a school food pantry with the help of Mr. Rella, Ms. Rohr, and students in the special education program. She has faced much adversity, like finding a means of communication, but successfully forged a way to provide food for homeless and hungry families throughout our community, serving over 100 hours. Vincent and Anthony Amendolia thought of the idea to collect Coke bottle caps as a way to raise money for our class. These caps contain a code that essentially can be turned in for free money. For the class of 2020, this has raised over $1,400. Something I think that may have gone overlooked is our class's effort to make everyone's 4 years great. We have spent many hours planning fundraisers, decorating for dances, designing t-shirts, getting decorations for prom, and drawing posters for Spirit Week. Many students have contributed their time to seeing our class succeed, and for that, they should be applauded. Our freshman year, student council had the idea to sell water bottles, which was not entirely successful, to say the least. I think Mrs. Leitz might still have a few collecting dusts in her closet. But besides that, projects like Egg My Yard, where students from our class would hide eggs for Cinnaminson families before Easter, attracted much attention and impressively raised over $4,000 in funds for our class and project graduation. This could not have been possible without the help of many willing students and our dedicated advisors, Mrs. Leitz and Mr. Campbell. They have made all of this possible and spent so much time trying to keep around 200 emotional teenagers smiling, which, as many parents know, can be very difficult. With that said, I want to thank all my amazing teachers over the years. Mrs. Alvarado, Mr. Becker, Mr. Prokupka, Mrs. Arbalez, who unfortunately could not make it tonight. I can say with certainty that you have all had a significant impact on who I am today, and for that I will be forever grateful. And to my peers, I say this on behalf of everyone in our class, as I am positive that every student will bring a beneficial contribution to the world outside of high school. We will be remembered, not just out of sympathy for what we missed out on, but for what CHS will miss as our class moves forward in our lives. We will go on to be engineers, musicians, teachers, activists, and even if you don't know what the future holds for you in store right now, I hope that your time at CHS has been memorable and influential on you as a student and a human being. I've seen firsthand many of you grow into respectable and admirable adults, motivated by a goal you see for your life, whatever it may be. It has not all been smooth sailing. Everyone has seen hard days, regardless of who you are as a person or student. It is from here on out that you can decide who you will be. So, 2020 is not ruined. Let it open your eyes to how much you have to be grateful for. As this journey comes to a close, know that it is you who shapes what is to come. It has been an honor and a blessing to come to know all of you, not only the past 4, but 12 years in Cinnaminson schools. It is most sincerely that I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you. We welcome to the podium our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Stephen Capello.
Good evening, everyone. Given the heat, I've decided to keep my remarks decidedly brief, so already we're coming at this from a good place. As we have learned repeatedly throughout this year, learning is not limited to the confines of a classroom. Cinnaminson High School is not defined by the physical plant or the structure of a building, and the Cinnaminson learning community is not defined by the borders of 08077. In keeping with this theme, 2020 has taught us that it is okay to redefine the norms of institutions, even graduation. It is in fact that nothing about 2020 is unfolding according to the playbook. I can't imagine in September that you envisioned a graduation where you were wearing masks, sitting 6 feet apart, and divided by alphabet. However, 2020 has helped to show us that we are subject to the frailties of deviation. Perhaps more importantly, when required, we can muster the strength and resilience to see through operational abnormality and relish in silver linings. The class will be remembered by history. This includes both the Cinnaminson class of 2020 and those contemporaneous graduates from every class of 2020 worldwide. We sit at the 1/5 of the way mark of the 21st century, your lives being bookended by undoubtedly the 2 most significant events of the century. Born into a post-9/11 world and graduating amidst global pandemic, your lives have been flanked in adversity, but nonetheless defined by resolve and the ability to adapt to a changing landscape. This is the graduation that was not supposed to happen, but for the resolve and the will of the student body and student leadership, we were able to gather in this forum. I have little doubt that you will remember this moment and this graduation for the rest of your lives. I hope that when you look back, it won't be memories of masks and social distancing or even this heat. It will be the moment that you spent together recognizing a 13-year journey where you committed yourselves to your education, bringing you to the crossroads of today. Good choices and bad choices, success, mistakes, happy accidents have made you the young women and men that are seated before us. Sure, the last 4 months of your public school education have tested your resilience, but in your resolve, you found that education is more than lessons taught in books and tests. You learned important lessons about life, problem solving, and the importance of human connection. And while you chose not to dwell on opportunities lost, but instead seize opportunities that lie ahead, like the tailor outfitted with their textiles, fabrics, haberdashery, and needles, or the artist with a blank canvas and a palette of paints, the tools of your academic trade are honed and at your disposal for future success. Therefore, if, as they say, success is where opportunity and preparedness meet, the class of 2020 is primed for success. In her very eloquent speech, Abby said to us, although our last year was far from perfect, the class of 2020 pulled through. In the world of optometry, 20/20 vision isn't perfect vision, but rather it's considered to be normal vision. This class helped find normal in a time where we seemingly had a daily new normal. This class helped define what it means to be together apart. And Rachel, I couldn't agree more with your remarks. The class of 2020 will indeed be remembered, not for the circumstances upon which you graduated, but for the manner in which you carried yourselves to make it to this celebration. Cinnaminson is a special community, and I hope that you will keep a piece of Cinnaminson nearby you where you go off to find your new normal in life. You enter the world of 10,000 plus Cinnaminson alum, and you will remain a pirate for life, even if your journey puts many miles between you and 08077. You will always have a home here, where tonight we hope that you will not be just saying goodbye, but introducing yourselves as the new leaders of tomorrow. On behalf of the Board of Education, District Administration, your teachers and staff, congratulations on all that you have accomplished, and best wishes in the future.
Mr. Gorman will recognize the top 10% of the class of 2020.
Please stand as your name is announced and remain standing until all names have been read. Please hold all applause until all names have been read. Brooke Adams. Molly Barkley. Michael Barron. Shannon Clark. Kayla Decker. Eric Gallagher. Vincent Gallo. Jenna Goins. Sierra Harris. Matthew Jones. Matthew Kay. Abigail McDonald, Amy Mulholland, Emily Mulligan, Valerie Myers, Connor Nachersky, Hannah Shearer, John Terafay Jr., Daniel Travers, Catherine Underwood, Rachel Wickstead. Please join me in congratulating the top 10% of the class. Students may be seated. 3 of you will be proudly wearing the colors of the United States of America and the Armed Forces. Please stand while I call your name and remain standing. Jacob Campbell, Army. Faith Erigo, Coast Guard. Benjamin Gigliotti, Army. There is no higher honor than to defend this wonderful nation we call home, and we as a community thank you for your service. Please be seated.
Our next presenter is Dr. Frank Goldburn, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, who will recognize the 2020 Awards of Excellence recipients.
Please stand as your name is announced and remain standing until all the names are announced. Please hold your applause until all of the names have been called. For excellence in art, Kaylee Makowitz. For excellence in biology, Valerie Largay. For excellence in business, Emily Mulligan. For excellence in chemistry, Kayla Decker. For excellence in English, Abigail McDonald. For excellence in French, Michael Smith. For excellence in mathematics, Michael Barrett. For excellence in music, Jenna Goins. For excellence in photography, Allison Clark. For excellence in physics, John Terafay. For excellence in social studies, Molly Barkley. For excellence in Spanish, Matthew Jones. For excellence in cooperative business education, Allison Okomsky. For excellence in marketing education, Shane Joyce. And for excellence in physical education, Connor Nachersky and Grace LePage. Please join me in congratulating all of the award recipients. Students, you may be seated.
As we prepare to confer diplomas on each senior, let us join together to acknowledge our love and give praise to our high school by joining the Cinnaminson Chamber Choir and members of the concert choir featuring Sophia Waninger in the singing of our alma mater. Please stand.
Praise, love, and honor to our alma mater. Sing we our gratitude, pride, and admiration. With every step we take, a better world to make. Our lives we offer thee. Our lives we offer thee. Praise, love, and honor to our alma mater. Sing we our gratitude, pride, and admiration. With every step we take, a better world to make. Our lives we offer thee. Our lives we offer thee.
Class, please be seated. The honor of bestowing diplomas on the members of the graduating class is assigned to the President of the Board of Education. Please join me in welcoming Cinnaminson Township's Board of Education President, Mrs. Laura Fitzwater, and Mr. Stephen Capello, Superintendent of Schools. Mr. Gorman will be joined, that's for later. Mr. Gorman, I hereby certify that the collective members of the senior class of 2020 have met and fulfilled all the requirements prescribed by the state and local Board of Education. They have, at this time, earned the right to be awarded a Cinnaminson High School diploma. To you, Mrs. Fitzwater, the President of the Board of Education, it is my honor to present the class of 2020.
Brooke V. Adams. Monib Ahmad. Nathan J. Alford. Alexa Marie Allen. Anthony M. Amendolia. Vincent J. Amendolia. Juliana K. Ashley. Jihan Ayez. Omer K. Aiden. Karan R. Azil Summerzal. Richard A. Bagley. Mason J. Ballinghoff. Molly S. Barkley. Joseph T. Bastian. Coleman J. Bastian. Michael P. Barrett. Bruno V. Bejarano. Sarah G. Bergen. Zachary A. Binkley. Edwin J. Blair. Jonathan Blows. Kevin D. Bacchus. Sarah A. Brooks. Alexis M. Brown. Kayla Caban. Justin J. Kachese. Nasira Z. Calloway.
Jacob Campbell. Aiden R. Cave. Banu S. Salin. Julia N. Charest. Chidas Chiche. Allison R. Clark. Shannon E. Clark. Madison J. Conjemi. Samantha M. Conyers. Natalie M. Cooney. Caitlin R. Kozer. Stacy M. Crawford. Anthony N. Crisafulli. Daniela V. Cuevas. Alexander J. Chaika. Michael G. D'Agostino. Ryan J. DeCesar. Kayla L. Decker. Rachel N. Delp. Russell C. Tudoza. Rebecca J. Drum. Tatiana P. Elo. Faith M. Ergo. Danielle C. Evers. Angelina P. Fantozzi Bajorski. Joshua Farkas. Jack A. Feldner. Here, just take this one.
Then I'll turn this one off.
This way. Dylan H. Fields. Kirsten M. Flemig. Kirsten's could not be with us tonight. Patrick R. Flannery. Jasmine M. Flores. Emily A. Florkowski. Jack H. Florkowski. Michael D. Florkowski. Anaya J. Flunder. Sade Ford. Amanda M. Forrest. Austin A. Gabay. Vincent C. Gallo. Elizabeth S. Galvich. Christian J. Gee. Benjamin J. Gigliotti. Benjamin was unable to attend this evening. Johannes R. Gillestead. Jonathan D. Gleason. Jonathan could not be with us tonight. Jenna L. Goins. Carrie M. Good. Michael C. Graber. Sebastian W. Guerriere. Luke C. Halecki. Michael J. Harper. Sierra M. Harris. Theodore J. Hayes. Colin J. Healy. Kylie M. Hess.
Samantha Hoban. It's really loud. James W. Hoffman III. Cameron J. Horsley. Zachary Wang. Aaron J. Hunter. Katerina V. Iannuzzi. Michael N. Iannuzzi. Julia D. Amandi. Gage A. Jack. Jasmine Johankins. Erica G. Jones. Matthew R. Jones. Shane C. Joyce. Lee A. Camaris. Caitlin M. Kane. Mohammed A. Karagaz. Emma Karch. Casey R. Kaufman. Matthew M. K. Jalen M. King. Francis Kirchner, Jr. Macy M. Cravel. Mikhail K. Kusick. Valerie A. Largay. Eric M. Gallagher. Grace N. Frasso. Carmen R. Sagenario. Abigail K. McDonald. Rachel L. Wickstead.
Class of 2020 and audience, I invite you to reflect upon the events of this evening as our chamber choir and senior choir members sing the Song of Farewell. Mrs. Fitzwater, please join me here at the podium for the changing of the tassel. Class, please stand.
The last instructions you will receive as a Cinnaminson High School student are a symbol of your transition from student to graduate. Now, Cinnaminson High School Class of 2020, please turn your tassel from the left side to the right side of your cap.
For the applause. Classmates, may tomorrow bring fulfillment of your hopes and dreams. Congratulations and good evening.